Africa. West Africa lives in constant conflicts because they have civil wars like or the Sierra Leone or Liberia. And that's one of the reasons because Africa is so poor. The poor people is called the private sectors, and they are farmers, entrepreneurs, and shopkeepers. And they also are the people who are trying to help. Well, our hypothesis is that we have to focus on the private sector because almost all the people in Africa belong to the private sector also. But almost all people are very poor, so we have to focus on them. And like we already said, Africa lives in constant conflicts like the civil wars, and that's because we need law enforcement and security services. We also need mobile technology, support of national and international migration and international business. Why security and peace are fundamental? If this situation doesn't improve, there isn't going to be any economic growth because people aren't going to invest their money if there's a social conflict going on. African countries will grow faster, especially those lagging behind or those with a large number of poor people. They also have to fight against corruption because it's a serious factor that affects security. Some examples are in Guinea, where 3 ministers have resigned because of allegations of corruption. And in Nigeria, the former Inspector General of Police was in imprisonment. We thought that we also need more technology. Why is it? Because it is proof that if 10% out of 100 have a cell phone, there will be a growth of 0.6% per year. Why is that? Because when the fishermen go fishing, they call to the harbors and to know which harbor is buying the fish and which harbor is paying more for the fish. So that's why the economy grows. And another point is like there are a lot of poor people and they doesn't have a bank account. So when they need to send money, they can, or they use the mail or the post, but it is dangerous because it can get lost. So an easy way and secure way to send money is by the mobile. So you pay like account to your mobile, and the other person goes to another store and say, okay, here I have my credit in the mobile, so I need it, but in cash. So you receive cash in exchange. So that's why it's easier and cheaper. And we also think that national and international migration is very important because it represents a big percentage of its incomes, like Mexico, as you know, and almost all the economy is based on remittances. Like, well, this is not an example of West Africa, but it's a real representative example. Like, Nairobi has 5% of the population of Kenya, but it represents a 20% of its national income. So what Africa is trying to do is that the Africans go to richer countries and they want them to work there, and then they will earn their more money, and they will send this money to Africa, to their families. So that's why mobile technology, and this is also where mobile technology is included, because it will help to send money to Africa in a cheaper and easy way. Reducing barriers to business is also going to help Africa because they will be able to have an international trade. One example is that the African Union invested in Cape Town a few months ago $100 million because the target is to improve Africa's image as a place to do business. So our conclusion is that the African government needs to be focused in the private sector. Because what is going to happen if the poor people begins to earn money, they will pay their taxes. If the government has money, they will invest in education and social services. So Africa is going to be a better place with more educated people and, better education for the people. So the richer countries will invest in Africa. If Africa shows that they have the capacity to grow, like the security services, if Africa doesn't have so many civil wars, they are going to think, okay, Africa is getting better. There's not dangerous to invest there. It's going to grow. So, like Europe and other richer countries will invest there. So that's what we need to do to gain stability and progress.